What's poppin', y'all? We're going to start it with a little throwback. SPAC Dream. My first song, my first banger, my first hit having to do with the financial markets. We'll wait for some people to get it. We're going to let it bump. And then I found Mo. Least most of it. Then after Nicola merger hit, it was over with. I follow Dr. SPAC, it's back watch. Yeah, I see ya. Of course, the big boss, your mom, polyappedia, see the future CV and also ESG. So the best type of SPAC is ACTC. A bunch more have been mentioned, but you'll guess who's next. Buy the dip on QS while it's taking a huge breath. If you want to know the rest, just follow the SPAC tiger. Yo, man, check it out. This is what we're going to do, man. We won some trades yesterday, so we celebrating as always, man. It's FartCoin. Got out here. They slid in SPAC girls' DMs trying to give her the D. And everybody know you gotta follow SPAC Guru. We've been on some of the same SPACs since way back. I'm really long on Hillion with J Mac. Help me pay my bills. And I can't forget the stock. Watch that boy got skills. Let's get rich. But he say what we thinking. You better watch yourself. And they might squash your wealth. Hey, blockchain cowboy in the house, baby. This is my first finance song ever called SPAC Dream. The one that blew up over the weekend. It was about, 5 years now? 4 years ago? 2021, baby. Even Redman saying, buy the dip, buy the dip. We love it when the TV give exposure to SPACs. Quick shout out Josh Brown with Biggie over his back. You know I'm noticing that, but I ain't gonna overreact. Melissa sharper than attacker, we all know it's a fact. Steve Brass was showing love. Triple price in the share. And people retweet. Why you live on the air? John's unusual activity. I'm hitting some of them and bond them keep a grin. One guy tried making fun of him. Kevin O'Leary likes SPAC if he likes the sponsor, but I think he's hey. The video's what I should be playing. I might have to figure out. I got the big music and it's playing in the big speakers right now, but I might want to show the music videos too because that'd be lit. Right. Like David Faber said, I got a SPAC and a dream. Hey, this was the beat though. If y'all ain't seen this music video, we was really out in the hood. We was right there in Fairfax. Right there. All of my partners, I got the music video playing over here on the side computer. That's why I'm looking this way. Da-da. Well, y'all know she helped me make the beat too. She can play the piano, and I made everything else. What's poppin'? It's your boy Cassius Cuvée, man, with another live stream trading party. Number 9, y'all. We're doing this shit every day, baby. You better get ready. This is how it's finna go down, man. If you missed the last one, I killed it. And I just, I say getting tired of winning. I ain't tired of winning. We're going to keep winning, man. I'm going to jump right into it, baby. Look at this, man. FartCoin. I had never actually, I don't think I ever made a trade on FartCoin until yesterday. And I went to sleep and woke up a winner. And Henry was on here, and Henry's new to trading, so he was asking me some specific questions. I had just entered FartCoin as soon as the live stream started. I mean, it was... So I revealed that I had cheated, and I actually entered one of my private account, a bigger position. But then for the trading account, Cash 2 in Phemex, I entered it like right when the live stream started. And I was like, I just got in right here. I just got in, gal. I didn't have time for none of this widget, all this shit, the red and green stuff, none of that. And so basically the whole last episode, I was giving everybody watching my whole thought process. But like I said in the private Discord, it's crazy because... For me, literally less than a minute. I didn't even look. I pulled it up. I think we had FartCoin already on the screen from the day before up here on Breakout prop or something. Or maybe it was on this screen. I don't know where. I had it on the screen already somewhere. And I just happened to look. And I seen this wave, this 10-minute go on like this. And then I seen the 1 hour. And I was like, the 1 hour is green right now. It was actually green at the time. And this is why I keep saying, man, we got to look at it in real time. But it was green. I was like, bro, that shit seems fake. I was looking at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was not really pumping that much. Bitcoin was over here status quoing it. I don't know where it was. It was here. No. Where's Friday? It wasn't as high. Bitcoin had not shot back up all the way yet, basically. It didn't come way up here, but FartCoin had. And that's what told me, because this is the big day on Wednesday, FartCoin had come all the way back up here. I was like, come on, man. That's too far. And the thing about it is, this is what I say about breaking the rules, is actually was technically that would make it a bullish ticker compared to Bitcoin. So, it's risky. But my point is the strategy can work even if everything is not perfect. I mean, the system can work. And that's kind of what I kind of proved that yesterday. And my entry was, it wasn't good. It was great. So what I did was when I got in and I had a higher, in my personal account, I had a higher position because I take risks that I don't really want to do in front of everybody because I don't want you guys to copy it. Exactly. But it was almost the same trade. Basically, I got into this one first. It was at the orange line. And, bruh, it don't get much closer than this. You know what I'm saying? I was already at the top. But I was on the way back down, right? So I was still trading with the trend. I knew this started to come down and that this red dot was about to appear. And I don't think it was even there showing when the live stream started. But then it did. And then right after that, when I was talking to Henry, right after that, then we got a red dot on the 1 hour. And then I was like, oh, we home free. We are home free. And I'm telling you guys, I did the whole trade right here. I did the whole trade just by using Market Cipher B. Well, that's not true. I'm going to tell you the part I didn't. Mostly by using Market Cipher B, just by looking at this. Like, I'm talking seconds. I saw that. I was like, oh, let me see. I wanted to check the higher time frames. So I think I looked at this real quick. I seen a green dot on the 1 day. Now, that gave me pause, okay? Because I'm like, a lot of trends going on. Green days, that means a whole bunch of stuff was green. I was like, everything basically higher than the 1 hour was green. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing short time frames here, but I'm kind of calling it. I think this is the local top. And boy, was I right. And I was like, and the whole time I'm talking to Henry he was tapped into the live stream, and I was like, look, man, I'm like, I don't know if this is the top, but it was a top, right? Like I said, somebody got in right here and got mad. I'll put it back on the big screen. Someone got in right here and got mad that it wasn't the top. I promise you this. But if they stuck with it and they watched or whatever, maybe they set another alert. Now, the other reason why it's okay. So this is what I want to say also. I know that I always talk about down here is 80% of the cake and up here is the frosting. But let me tell you something. I can draw your name and happy birthday real neatly on the frosting as well. I'm not saying, that's why I say it's 20%. It ain't 0%. I know how to use the frosting as well. And I know I preach down here. I always do. But the frosting is delicious too, all right? And so, okay, I took that into consideration, right? I'm like, look, these are all peaks poking out over here. If it don't break above here, it's probably going to reverse. Is this the exact reverse? I don't really know, but that's when I kind of looked back in here and I said, okay, this is rolling over, looking at this red dot. It's probably going to go in. Henry joined this thing. What's up, Henry? I'm recapping what you saw live yesterday real quick on FartCoin, as you can vouch for the fact that, man, I caught the top right at the beginning of the stream. To actually start the stream a little bit early because I was like, oh, I got in the stream. So then I got in. So I got in right before the stream started on this orange line. And then literally right when the stream started, I got in on this line, this green line here where I put on the widget. And if you watch how much this widget thing frustrates me is why I don't ever use it. But I wanted to keep it on. I said, Harry, should I keep it on? He said, keep it on. So that's why we kept it on, right? Okay, fine. I said the other scenarios that might happen. Let me see if I can just hide it real quick. Well, I can leave it open. I said, look. This is what I think happened when I was setting the take profit and a stop loss. And we went over how I did that. But I was like, for the take profit, I said, okay, look. Where do we set a take profit? And again, it takes seconds to look. All I really did, let me see, was I even looking at the 1 hour or the 10 minute? I'm sure I looked at both. I think I looked at the 1 hour. And I saw this wick right here. This wick right here. And I said, this is like the first wick down. Remember, none of this is here. We were way up here first, right? None of this was here yet. I was like, I'm setting my take profit right here on this wick. And that's what this blue line represents. And so I said, I have my, I just do the lines real quick. It's just quicker to me than fooling around with this widget. But I have my lines set, and then I put on the widget, and I said, okay, this is what I'm thinking is going to happen or potentially could happen. First, I drew this line. I said we might have a little bit of a down here, and then up here, because I was like, I'm already up 37%. I'm like, bruh, in the stock market, if you go up 37% in a year, you like the best trader of all time. You know what I'm saying? This is why I like leverage. This was only 10x leverage, too. This wasn't even that extreme. It was just 10x leverage on this account. So I was like, man, 30 and then it kind of bounced around. I'll go back to the 10-minute real quick. It bounced around because we were mostly looking at the 10-minute. And I said, look, I know I drew this up when we were looking at 10. I said, I could see it doing, like, basically bouncing off of this. I think we started to bounce up a little bit. I said, I could bet you it comes up a little bit like this, comes down. I thought maybe you'd do another bounce because this line, I was showing them what this line of support kind of looks like. That's a rough guess, estimate, perception. That's in the eye of the beholder. I said, well, we might bounce off it again, and then all the way back, and then I drew this line. And then I said the other option that might happen, since I got a good entry, and this is so important. When you got a good entry, it's like, what do you call a good entry? A good entry is when it's like reversed right away. So now I got wiggle room. I'm like, okay, look. Could it bounce? Again, this is my other possibility. It could bounce, come all the way back up here and still not break up and come back down again. That's what this line was for, all right? So then, we go to sleep. I was exhausted yesterday, man. I was recovering from that party the night before. Man, it was a good-ass party. It was lit. And so I was tired as hell, damn near falling asleep on the live stream. But I felt so good about this entry, and I wanted to, go over exactly what I thought. So here I come. I wake up in the morning because this hit at what? This hit at like midnight. Half the time I'll be up at midnight still. I was already asleep. I woke up at like 4, and I seen this stuff bouncing up like this already. And I was like, I checked. I was like, did I hit it? And I was like, I nailed it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the entry, man, I got to tell you, Blockchain Cowboy, the entry, it's a hell of a thing, man. It's like I'm better at entries than exits. But I honestly rather be better at entries than exits, because exits, the worst case that happen usually is you just exit too early, but green is green. The entries is what you want. When you get a good entry, you just feel so good about it. You feel so great about it. A good entry. You got to be patient for a good entry. I mean, I was looking at this kind of stuff too. The 1 hour had a red dot already. Excuse me. It had this little peak here, green dot again, this red dot already right here, green dot. I'm like, bruh, this is a high couple waves right here. Unless you really think this is breaking out. Again, it's this, but it's also this up here too. I was comparing it to, I'm like, unless you really think this is breaking out, maybe there's a higher scam wick. But I also was looking at this scam wick. It wasn't a full scam wick yet, but it started to come back down. This is a sharp move though. It was a sharp move, though. When you see these big-ass wicks, you got how many green candles right in a row straight up, on a meme coin, you know what I'm saying? It's like, all I'm saying is risk versus reward. I was like, I cheated a little bit. I got in a little bit before this red dot. You see that red dot is on this candle, and I got in here, and I got in on the live stream on this candle. So the trend was my friend. I think I saw the red dot, so I'm getting in. And it was not a red dot on the 1 hour yet, though. So it's a little bit of a top ticking, like kind of calling the top on that one. Again, I took my chances. And that's why I say you kind of can break the rules of trading once you know the rules of trading. To me, I was like, okay, how many times is going to do this on this shitty coin? And Bitcoin is not really like pumping or doing anything crazy. And I was like, I'll be damned if FartCoin leads the market back to all-time highs. I'll bet against it. I'll put it that way. It was worth the risk. And sure enough, I was right. Okay? Like, FartCoin is not leading the market nowhere. Get out of here, bro. Okay? You know what I'm saying? It's Friday night. FartCoin ain't the one. So, anyways, I woke up this morning and I was like, I nailed it, bro. Like, man, I killed that. But I still have, because originally, and I explained this too. I want to explain this too. This is actually kind of important. This was originally for a swing trade, which is like why I went to sleep and stuff. And I said, okay, look. This is a swing trade. I think FartCoin goes lower. But if I'm going to sleep and it gives me this move back down to this line, give me my money. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? I'll take it in my sleep. So I had a stop loss and a take profit. If it hits this while I'm asleep, no harm, no foul. Maybe it shoots through and goes lower, but that would be a pretty quick move. It only happened in 4 hours or something. You know what I'm saying? I was like, if it happens that fast, I'll take it. Sure enough, that's what happened. But the larger position I had in my personal account, because FartCoin's one of the only coins I don't have a fucking open position in my personal account. So I did that, and so then naturally that one I was green. I had also got a little bit better entry, right? I was green, but I was like, well, it's a swing trade. I didn't necessarily want to take profit on that one right here. I didn't have a take profit set on that because I was gonna go by what Mark Cipher B was telling me. That's more was my exit strategy, if you will. But I was explaining that it's not okay to tell yourself that you're going to scalp trade and then turn it into a swing trade and then it end up being a bag holder for a long term because everything goes against you and you're chasing and averaging down. That's not okay. It is okay if your original trade idea was going to be longer term and you're up and you decided to get out early. That's okay. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. If you're going a swing trade that you think might last a few days or weeks or whatever, but you got the move that you were hoping for and it happened hella fast, that's okay if you get out early because green is green, right? You're like, man, this moved way faster than I thought in such a short amount of time. It's probably going to bounce just off the sheer fact that it moved so far so fast. Give me my money, bro. Like, that's okay. No, there's no harm, no foul there. So your exit strategy is always like, it is what it is, and then if it happens sooner than you thought, that's okay to get out early, in my opinion. Not financial advice, disclosures to everybody out there, trading is risky, blah, 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 all that other stuff. This is just what I'm doing in my thought process, okay? I'm like, taking money early is built into my system. That's not the end of the world, okay? Just like getting out too early is not the end of the world either. like if things, because what happens, when you trade with the trend, or you kind of it's lucky a little bit in the fact that I caught this top tick. It's luck, but it's not luck. I mean, I was looking at this stuff here. Of course, could have been a scam week that went higher. If that were the case, I had my finger on the trigger. We were going to be in the live stream. I was prepared to get stopped and then watch for a reversal and come back. Like, let's say I did want to do a higher. I was prepared. Put it that way, right? I was prepared. So my longer term one, or what was a potentially long term one, the reason I didn't have a take profit set on my private account, it's just because I was like, this may be the top, some sort of a top where stuff comes all the way back down farther. So then this morning, I think I was on a walk when I was writing in the Discord. I was like, you guys, I honestly check this shit like 12 times a day already, this half the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I saw the market give us one more chance, right? This one. The market gave us this. I was like, look, and this, you got to understand, this position has a lot more money than the position in the trading account for the live stream. So I'm looking at green staring me in the face down here. First, it was actually this little candle right here, which broke below that line again. And then it bounced, and I was like, I don't know, cuz if it comes back down to this line, give me my money. So it did. It hit that line. As soon as it started to come back up again, I said, I'm out. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? I'll take the money, bro. Like, and that was early. This was at, what time is that? Oh, like 7 a.m. Still early in the morning. I woke up hella early, like 4 something. I fell asleep so early. So I took it. So now I'm not in any of these trades in FartCoin anymore. And sure enough, it bounced. Okay, it came a little bit lower, but I was doing stuff all day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to sit here and watch it and stress about it. And what if I was wrong and it decided to do one of these? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to stress over that. It bounced up, which was, to me, solid support, which is why I drew my take profit there in the first place. Okay, it went a little bit lower. I looked at it. I was like, well, whatever. If it goes lower, it goes lower. No big deal. I actually won. I did well. But sure enough, this happened. And now we up here. So I will be stuck in this trade all the rest of the day, kicking myself, saying, why didn't you get out right here, or you know what I'm saying? And I'd be down here, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, I told myself I was going to hold this one. But I also had in the back of my brain all these green dots. A lot of stuff was pointing up still. A lot of stuff I wasn't so sure about, We got 8 hour pointing up. I knew we had the green dot on the daily. You know what I'm saying? I was like, And also, you got to call this out in crypto. It was the weekend. On the weekend, anything can happen in crypto, Since regular financial markets aren't open, especially recently, Donald Trump makes announcements about meme coins and shit on the weekend. You don't know what the hell is going to happen on the weekend in crypto. And something like FartCoin, if things want to turn bullish, could do one of these hella quick. And you won't even know. So I leaned back on my market Cipher B. And I was like, just give me my money, bro. It was a combination of market Cipher B and the price chart as well, back down here. So I'm not kicking myself for not getting out here. And I even wrote that in the private group. I said, the market will sometimes give you a second chance, They gave me 1 and gave me 2. I'll take it. You feel me? I'll take it. And that's fine with me. And so now it turns out, well, you could say I was technically right. Undoing, I forget. Every time you undo, it undoes everything, which is cool, actually. So now I'm like, I text somebody I'm going live, and now you want to text me back instead of jumping in the live. What? Come on, bro. Jump in the live, man. Oh, he's at a comedy show. Okay, well, you didn't have to tell me that. So anyways, I'm not mad. Right now, as of right now, getting out here, right? I didn't catch the exact bottom. That's okay. Getting out here, it was the right move, right? And maybe we'll wake up tomorrow or maybe later on tonight or maybe during this live stream, this will happen. And I'll say, oh, I guess you could have stayed in. But I didn't have to stress about this all day, you guys. I cannot stress it enough that stressing about this crap all day is annoying. Give me my money, bro. At 7 a.m., I took my money in a trade that I made 12 hours before. Why would I want to wait another 12 hours? You feel me? Like, we're 12 hours later. I would have 12 hours and I wouldn't have been as green as I was. And again, too, there's also just price action, meaning this waterfall hit me. Like, you got your move. You know what I'm saying? I got the move that I was looking for, this move. I got this move. You don't get one of those every time. A lot of times it does this jig-jag, zigzag, higher, lower stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you get the move in a short amount of time, take the money. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it, at least. And again, we check these charts every day. Y'all rocking with me. I see you in the Discord. I see you on my comments. You know what I'm saying? We all tapped in every day looking at the shit all day. Well, I learned this years ago. I was like, because I'm hanging out with number crypto people and traders. And I'm like, we look at the charts every damn day. Why the hell am I in a swing trade that's lasted me weeks or months or these bags that I'm hoping for the next cycle, blah, blah, blah. Just take the money. You know, we talk about round tripping, you round trip a whole damn cycle waiting on shit. You know what I'm saying? And I just, that's when I stopped. I'm like, man, I'm staring at and that's also the power of leverage, right? Now we get to have the benefit of having a bigger position in a shorter amount of time. Look, I can predict the future on 10-minute waves way better than I can predict them on 1-hour waves. And this is also very important. I want to show you. I was thinking about this when I sent that message, okay? Look at this price action. Look at market cipher B down here. All we got is one red dot right here and one green dot right here. This is the 1 day, so it's a big wave, right? Each candle is 1 day. So within these days, how many days is this? You can measure by using this measure tool from here to here to this candle. 10 days, okay? In 10 days, we didn't have any other dots, but look at this price action. If you were leverage trading anywhere in here, if somebody got liquidated somewhere, you feel me? Like, okay, you were doing good, but then maybe somebody entered to here, and then they got liquidated here, and then they got liquidated here, all without any dots changing. That's hard for me to predict it all way down here on this candle. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, from here to here is a massive move. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, man, if I had been trying to trade the 1-hour waves, I would have been, the price is up here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would have zigzag round trip. It would take me 10 days, and I wouldn't even have no money where I thought I was going to have. And before you know it, you got a green dot here. Now we don't even know if it's going back down here. Maybe it'll go. It's just too long a time. I can predict the 1 hour or even the 10-minute way better. And on a 10-minute, you ain't going to get a move that's that big. This move ain't finna happen on a 10-minute and no dot coming. That's the key. And I kind of just know that because I've studied market cipher minute by minute for hours and hours and days and weeks and months. And so I'm trying to save you all the time, basically. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is as crazy as me to sit here and stare at some shit and not do nothing and have no life for months on end. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I'm trying to save y'all the hustle and be like, this is why I trade short term. And now it's like second nature. I jumped in this trade so quick. I'm telling you, I was rushing to get live. I'm making a thumbnail. I'm doing all this and that. And I said, FartCoin? 10-minute wave? Let me check the 1 hour. Ooh, 1 day is kind of green. But look at this thing over here. I'm going. And I just entered. And I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. Less than 60 seconds, I entered that trade. Then I went live. And then right after that, the next, it was like the next candle, I entered this trade. And that was all it took. I didn't have if you watched the live stream, I was going at least 45 minutes, I think, before I set a stop loss because, price went my way right away. So I was watching it, obviously, but like I was like, bro, I'm that confident. And it's ain't about bragging. It's about showing how I got there. What made me so why did I have high conviction, right? Because some trades you have higher conviction than others. This was my thought process. In the end of the day, if I was wrong, you get stopped out, and I probably would have looked for the next entry on the same live stream. But I was right, and I top-ticked it. And then on the exit, I was right, too. Give me my money. And that was more so out of caution. Don't get me wrong. I was looking at Market Cipher P also. But, it was out of caution. And this is what I said in the Discord, too. I'm like, half the time you'll be wrong, and half the time you'll be right. Right? Getting out right here. Okay, one more bump, I could have got it, but I had to start my day. You know what I'm saying? This was the right play. Because the price is higher right now. But maybe next time it won't do that. Maybe next time it'll go, it'll come down to here instead of up here. And you'd be like, oh, well, the right play would have been to hold. Okay. But as a system, as a pattern, as a habit, taking this profit here, sometimes it does this and sometimes it does this. This time it did this, and so I'm not mad. Next time it'll do this, and I'll be quote unquote mad, but I won't. I've learned to not be mad no more because a win is a win. You know what I'm saying? This ain't always going to happen. This might happen. It's 50-50 chance. Price going up or down. You feel me? And so I caught my move, took my profit. I'm out. And now I don't have nothing open. I think we're having a sideways weekend. I feel like there may be some weird shock tomorrow. We had such a red week, and crypto held up better than most stuff, more than stocks, I should say. But like, I don't know. I feel like we're in a kind of unpredictable, and that's okay. This is when you don't trade. I don't plan to enter no trades today. I mean, I like trading at the extremes, I guess, is what it is. And this was an extreme, right? This week we had a bounce all the way from down here, all the way up here. That was a pretty big move. We had this little one, right? Soul's rolling over. What's up, Andrew? Soul's rolling. You want to take a look at Soul? But I trade the extremes, so it's like when you see a big extreme, now I'm licking my chops. Now I'm zooming in. Now I'm looking at market Cipher B. Okay, is this really the top? Is this going to be a breakout? Because you gave me all the way back. That's a big move, right? Somebody went long from here to here and did well. And it wouldn't have been me, but somebody did, right? I was looking for that reversal. I like shorting better. I think a lot of my crew like shorting better too. Someone once told me, right, I was teaching a guy how to trade, and he was like, why do you always short? And I was like, I don't know, bro. Shorting it just is better. And the funny thing is, he gave me the perspective. He's like, I'll tell you why I like it. I said, why? He's like, it gives you a target. Because this was when we were in price discovery. This was after, like around the time after the election or something. I don't know if it was before or after. But when there was it was a lot of pumps going on. And when in price discovery, for those who don't know it, is when it's like all-time highs or it's above or a recent high or something like that. So price discovery would be where it's uncharted territory. So like, even in a short-term price discovery, right? Like we'll call it like, since this is March, price discovery since March would be if FartCoin went up here, how do we know where it's going to stop? We don't really know. It's hard. And I know crypto faces a spider line. Some people have different things and stuff, but it's hard to know, okay, well, when the hell do I take profit? If there is some charts over here, people might be looking back over here to try to pick a number, I'll say try to draw some sort of a line and say like, okay, support and resistance is right here. Come on. What are we doing? Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Support and resistance. Why aren't they giving me the dot? It's weird. Oh, here it is. Okay. Support and resistance is right here. If you look, because of these, so this is how you draw. I know I haven't really gone over support and resistance that much because it's a price chart. But they might look and see the tops of these candles, the bottom of these candles. Some people draw on the wicks of the body. I like drawing them on the body. You might say, okay, this is resistance, right? If if FartCoin broke out above this, a breakout means it's like breaking out, this would look like a breakout, right? But if it broke above this line here, we would say, okay, it's breaking out. And, people, and the reason it works, by the way, the mechanics of the market, there is something to be said for that, because what happens is everyone thinks the same way, and then markets are self-fulfilling prophecies. So what will happen is people have what's called a stop limit order, meaning that if price broke above these candles, they would say, oh, it's got momentum, it's trending, and they would enter a trade. It would automatically enter a trade here, and then price would keep going to the upside. And they would say, well, how high is it going to go? We don't know because we're in price discovery. But if you go back far enough, you find something. If there's nothing back there and you're truly in all-time high territory, then you really have no idea. But you're going to be giving yourself some sort of a target. This is where people use VWAPs, so Flap and Grover VWAPs and stuff like that. So, spider lines, crypto face, people have different ideas for what might work for price discovery. But there's something to be said for a breakout because people pile in because they already have limit orders set. This is if it goes above this, I'm buying because that's where the Momo is. And then you get those extra wicks. Sometimes they blow off top. Sometimes they continue. And this is when you're on an altcoin, you're looking at Bitcoin, you're looking at the larger market. But I didn't think that was going to happen. I didn't think that was going to happen. I was like, I'll be damned if there's price discovery right now on FartCoin. Okay. So shorting, though, gives me a target. There is no price discovery if you're shorting because there was always a price lower. You get me? So, unless you're like at the end of a long ass, unless they're all-time lows or 52-week lows or something like Ethereum, then you don't really know. So shorting gives you a price target on the way down. It's like, that kind of does make sense. Maybe that's why I like it. And I hadn't even articulated that to myself because now, right, I had this line at the bottom of this wick. That's what gave me this target right here was this. I had something. If this was nothing because everything was coming down, where would I know to draw this take profit? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I would have just leaned on Markets FRB, of course, but I'm just saying I wouldn't know Markets FRB until I got there. So that's the general idea of why probably I like shorting more because it gives me a target. The other reason, the real reason, is because I know in crypto, most things that go up are going to come right back down. I mean, that's just what I know, especially meme coins or something with no utility. There's no one buying them because they're going to hold them long term because the tokenomics are going to carry them and there's a limited supply and blah, blah, blah. That ain't going to happen, bro. That ain't going to happen on meme coins. So that's the other reason why I like shorting, because I feel like if I get, quote unquote, hung as a bag holder, as a shorter, like time's on my side. So that's why my short is to the bias. I mean, my bias is to the short. Sol. You want to look at Sol? Sol is Solana. For anybody who don't know that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, right here. Solana. Got to have that in here at the top of the list. Okay. Sol's rolling over. Yeah, Sol's rolling over. I think most things rolling over. Okay, so this is the 5-day if we're looking at price charts, right? Normally we start down here. And yeah, it's certainly rolling over down here. This is only the 10-minute, but it's rolling over. We've got, this is a 5-day moving average. For any time frame, it's not 5-unit moving average. Usually moving averages and stuff like this line here are based on like whatever time frame you're on. But this one is based on 5-day period, okay? If you want to know how to set that, this is it here. Freeze the screen. Put in 120 days, source close, offset. So you just copy this SMA. It's a simple moving average, 5 and a time frame 1 hour. For whatever reason, this makes it stick. I don't know. It's kind of a pain in the ass with the trading view. Try to figure out something to make it actually stay as a moving average permanently as opposed to adjusting with the time frame. So that's why I keep it on there. I don't want to have too many lines. So I just my one. So yeah, okay, rolling over. We're seeing it kiss around here. It didn't kiss right off. That's why I can't use this is for like TA because sometimes it goes through and sometimes it don't. But it's staying below it, which means the trend is to the downside, which I guess I really didn't need this to tell me that. But, it gives you a little bit of reversion to the mean. You can kind of get a ballpark. And then we're looking at this, rolling over. So these are the RSIs. I know I never talk about them on here, so far I haven't talked about it. I have a video on my YouTube channel talking about the market Cipher B RSIs, the purple and the green. They're pointing down. They are kind of, the funny thing is they are, RSIs means the relative strength index. And a lot of people say, oh, the RSI is high. It means it's overbought. And it's low, so it means it's oversold. And then they'll say, well, sometimes it can stay overbought or sometimes it can stay oversold longer than you think. Well, the reason they say that is because they're actually wrong about what an RSI is. It's a relative strength index. It is not overbought and oversold. That is a slang terminology that I do not know who originated, but it's one of those misnomers. If you don't know what a misnomer is, I thought everyone knew what it was, but Adam once told me he didn't know. A misnomer is when something it's been told so much to you that you think it makes sense, or where it sounds makes sense, but then it doesn't really mean that. So overbought and oversold is not actually what RSIs mean. They're really more of a momentum indicator. And Market Cipher B gives you two of them, and they're kind of calibrated differently, which is kind of nice. The purple one is more sharp, and the green one is calibrated to be a little bit slower moving. Similar to the waves, kind of in that sense. The blue waves and the light blue wave are right next to each other. But basically, when these lines are going on top of one another, especially if they're pointing like up, that's like a sign of strength until they start to break to the downside. So just because they're high, when they say it's overbought, it can stay overbought, yeah, but that's because it's not really overbought. It just means momentum's to the upside. So you kind of got the more indicators in your favor going down, the more likely the price is going down, right? We're looking at VWAP kind of already broke down. This is the money flow. Here, I don't keep mine colored in. So we went green high, but now it wants to come back down. Got RSIs pointing down. Obviously, the blue waves pointing down. Price hasn't dropped a hell of a lot considering this is rolling over. That again, it's only a 10-minute. Let's look at it at the 1 hour. Clearly, this is a downtrend, right? I didn't need this yellow line to tell me that. Straight down and got a little bounce, but like if you're looking at it from this, that looks like a downtrend to me, right? And this is the moving average. Like, yeah, pretty much straight down with a hell of a lot of zigzag, right? I have no reason to believe in particular this is going higher unless there's some sort of news break. That being said, I don't exactly have a reason to believe that it's going lower. This is the 1 hour still going up, so I guarantee you this is a green dot. 3 hours a green dot, but now they're looking little. So now, hold on a minute. Okay, 4 hours. See, this is chop. This is sideways chop right here. I could see that happening. I could see that keep happening. I'm not trading this weekend. You know what I'm saying? unless I'm in and out quick. Okay, finally, we do have a 6 hour. I guess, well, you wouldn't know. That's not I was going to say that's a bull div. It's not really. The momentum did get lower. Technically, they're bullish on the 6 hour. We had this, but it's not a bull dip. Price went up with it, so it's not a divergence, but it's bullish on the momentum waves. But, this, okay, I haven't even talked about this. This is what I first discovered when I started messing with the momentum waves. The bigger time frames are imagined like a heavier wave, like a tsunami's coming down. So they take precedent on the bigger trend. Well, we got a green dot here. But let's say we didn't have a green dot here. We'd be like, man, what would it say the 2 day? Ain't got no green dot. The momentum on the 2 day and the 3 day and the 4 day and the weekly, they're coming down. You get what I'm saying? This is all pressure. Big pressure coming down. A 1 hour wave ain't going to just blow that out the water and go back up to the top. It's not that's a lot of pressure to fight. You got to take baby steps. We need a 1 hour first, then a 2 hour first, and a 3 hour first. So the overall trend is to the downside. But maybe it's starting to turn with this green dot here down. It's not a real deep green dot. This one was a little bit deeper, But what happens, and then what happens is what I was going to say. The big waves are coming down. Maybe the smaller waves are coming up, and it's like the two waves crashing into one another and kind of evening each other out. Like, like some big, some small. The bigger ones will take precedent, but they're like a slower moving glacier. You know what I'm saying? So what will end up happening is you get a woo 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 woo, and then you wonder, okay, well then what? Something's got to give at some point. It's gonna go pew, or it's gonna go pew. No way of knowing just yet. I don't pretend to know just yet. But that's kind of the general premise, is that you got these heavy waves pushing down on you. And you're like, man, especially if they were like over here, like when they're up top, I'm like, this was coming down hard. Oops. This was coming down hard. It would be hard pressed for me to think that this was going to just get reversed. If it was going to be reversed slowly. Like price wouldn't just shoot all the way back up immediately. When you got this kind of big old wave coming down on a pretty big time frame, it takes a while for this cycle to end, But maybe it's coming to an end, right? Let's put on the 1 day. This is Salon, right? Boy, this is tough. No, this is the 1 day. That's tough. I feel like we're going to see some sideways chop here for a while, but sideways chop, all you got to do is zoom in and scalp. I mean, that's basically what you do if you want to trade. If you want to trade at all. Okay, what we got? Let's see. Weekend is garbage. One of the best thing I did was quit trading on weekends. I feel you, bro. But still peaking the next. And the funny thing is that's a general. I'll say that's true sometimes. It's true like seasonally. You know what I'm saying? Like seasonally, when everything was hot, there's like a time period where everything would pump on Saturday and then dump on Sunday. Like there was a time where we had like 10 weekends in a row where that happened, and that was the trend until it wasn't no more. And that's what I say in this trading game. It's like the trend is the trend is your friend till the end. But when? Because that kind of goes for every type of trend, right? Like straight up price line, or just the pattern of weekend traders. They got sick of the stock market during the week, and then we're going to trade crypto on the weekend because we're all addicts and we're addicted to trading something. Give me my money. Hey, we got to get our fix somehow. I remember that. That was in 2020 and 2021 where everything was hot, right? And so when motherfuckers couldn't trade stocks anymore on the weekend, it was crypto. And then check this out. Whew, I remember this. Every single Monday morning, something was getting short squeezed. And they would talk about it on CNBC. It's dark outside still. It was like wintertime, They talk about CNBC, or I'm seeing it on Robinhood. Something was getting short squeezed. It was a stock. Why? Because this is when everybody was all on Reddit and Twitter too. But it was largely Reddit actually was driving it. And they were saying, we're going to get in cahoots and we're going to figure out something we're going to squeeze. And I swear to God, every Monday morning. So it was kind of funny when they finally picked it up on CNBC. I'm like, bro, we've been doing this for about, 10 weeks. That was the play. Every damn Monday, something was going to get squeezed. And that was the pattern until it wasn't the pattern no more. You know what I'm saying? That's what's so funny about it. But yeah, it seems like right now, man, this weekend price action, I don't know, unpredictable. There was a time, though, when it was like, everything was going to pump on a Saturday and then dump on a Sunday, because I caught in on some of that. I would just wait. I like to short. I would wait for the pump and see how high I was going to go, wait for it to slow down, wait for that momentum to look at like something like this, and that's when I would get in and then short it till Monday, and then I didn't know if Monday was going to happen, so I'd get out. What else we got in the chat? Okay, at what point would you take profit? On which part, Henry? On which part? I'm on this trade. I'm not in right now. Okay, Andrew. I was like, going to the casino. I ain't playing today, dear. Exactly. I'm just watching. All right, we got Nick C. Hey, Cassius, how much margin do you use for trades in your 10-minute, 1-hour strategy? Okay, on the 100K account. So that largely depends on the ticker. All right. In general, I'm definitely using less than half, though. And I got so good at it, I probably could have used more money, to be honest with you guys. I like playing it kind of safe and breakout prop. If something goes, I am playing it safe because my strategies, if it goes against me, I'm cutting my losses. So like I said, could probably go bigger. But I'm like, to make the amount of money I was talking about, like not even that much, 1,000 a day, something like that, relatively straightforward. Man, I was only using like 12K, 15K. It depends on the ticker. So the real volatile tickers, which was like EIGN, that was one of my favorites. I didn't need that much, bro. It'd be between 8 and 12K, 13, 14, 15, maybe. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes, well, on one ticker, yeah, probably 10K, we'll call it. But sometimes I would have 2 or 3 tickers, and that's what would kind of get me into trouble. I started getting squeezed. That's when I would be getting up to 50K or something like that. It was because I had multiple tickers. And before you know it, an 8K plus a 12K plus another 10K plus a 10K. You know what I'm saying? Before you know it, and you're like, okay, I know this price is going to drop. I know it's coming, but you're hoping you don't get a scam look in your face before that happens. You feel me? But even that was before I was doing the scalping strategy. So you don't even need that much money. But I will say, though, it depends on the ticker. Because literally you're going to use twice as much on a ticker that is half as volatile. Like literally. The problem with that is, it's not a huge problem, but just you figure into the calculation is the trading fees. And I'm a miser, so I don't like big trading fees. So I'm like, find me the shittiest shitcoin I can put some real money on, and my trading fees are like 13 cents or something. You know what I'm saying? Like my trading fees are not that much, and I'm still getting that big percentage move. That was kind of my play, you know? But then you start trading 5, 6 tickers at a time. Again, I don't recommend that. I have a Post-it note that reminds myself only do 2 tickers at a time tops. Partially, there's 2 reasons. Partially so I can just look at 2 of them. Let me go back to Breakout Prop real quick. Partially because there's 2 tickers on the screen at one time, but also because Breakout Prop will start to slow down, start to lag. We talked about this yesterday, the day before. Somebody asked me about lagging on Breakout Prop. And what you're going to want to do is keep refreshing this. Keep refreshing your screen. Don't got to be that often, but as soon as you feel like something's lagging, just hit the refresh button. And it really does come from having too many charts was the thing I noticed when I was doing A/B tests. It was, and also talking to customer support, but it's the charts are what uses all the memory or the data or whatever you want to call it. And then eventually, like when you're done trading for the day, you can clear the cache out on the domain and on the browser. And I only use, I'm only having Breakout Prop open when I'm trading. I don't have any other windows open like internet or email and none of that other stuff. Only Breakout Prop. So yeah, that was a great question though. And the best way to find out is you got to just try it out. That's the only real way to know, man, because you got to learn what tickers you want to trade. So, I got Bitcoin over here, right? Kind of my baseline. And then you start experimenting. Maybe some Solana will give you a little more. Then you start digging down deeper in the bag with some meme coins or something like that. You know what I mean? You start seeing what's more volatile. You can look over here on TradingView and see what's simply moving, like when everything pumps, what's the percentage? Some are just going through the roof, and others, you got a 2%, a 3%, 4 or 5%, okay. But then you got one that's like a 10 or a 12%. Those are on a different class. Like those, you could use half as much margin and still make money. But you'll figure it out. I would just start. I like having 100K, but then still start small, and you can gradually, because see, then it's like every time you add 1,000, you really only adding 1% of your bag. That's not so bad. You know what I'm saying? It's not so bad. Whereas if you had like a $10,000 account, you're like, I want to add 1,000. You just added 10% in your bag, and it doesn't feel like that. But you're like, I'm trying to make some damn money here, so now I'm at $5,000. But like now you're using 50% of your bag. If something goes against you, 4% in a day or 6% overall, now you're breached. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I like the 100K, and I could just slowly move up as much as I want, as slow as I want. All right. Okay, on that run, enter on a Thursday, sell on Tuesday. Okay. Which of the trends would give you a profit? I got to say, Henry, the questions you asked me are funny sometimes because it's kind of like, I don't want to be an asshole, but I want to tell you, like, you're asking like the wrong question. What I want to say is, because I don't know what that means, which of the trends would give you a profit? It doesn't matter what trend it is. The trend is your friend until the end. So whatever's the trend you notice, that's the trend you get on. But you be ready for it to end, really. So a trend might be price, trend might be sentiment. You know, I'm on Twitter. I'm reading Twitter. I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm going to update you guys in the Discord. I encourage you guys, if you are noticing a trend and you're in my private group, leave it in the general chat. Be like, hey, I seem to notice that this is happening on weekends. I seem to notice meme coins are doing this and altcoins are doing this. You know what I'm saying? Just whatever, observation is cool. Then someone like me, I'll go and I'll take a look. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, oh, you know, you're right about that. I wasn't even peeping that. You know, you start noticing behaviors and patterns. Nothing ever does the same thing forever. You know what I mean? And that's why in the private Discord, I have like, okay, this is what's looking bullish right now, and this is what's looking bearish right now relative to Bitcoin. It doesn't mean it's going up because I say it's a relatively bullish ticker. It means that everything tanked, but then for some odd reason, Myro, let's see Myro real quick. Where is Myro? For some odd reason, Myro didn't tank or something like that, you know, or something. Was it Myro? OM, excuse me, OM. Look at OM, flat. All of a sudden, OM wants to be, so technically it's like relatively bullish. Everything else is going down, and he's going sideways. Why is that? All week. Look, this is Saturday. This is last Saturday, March 29th. Here we are today. OM is flat. So that's a relatively bullish ticker. When I look at Bitcoin, remember we could do it up here. Let's see. I mean, Bitcoin's relatively bullish also. There's not too many relatively bullish tickers. I guess Bitcoin's been relatively flat following OM, you know. But I'm just saying, like, compared to whoever we want to pick. Well, we know this. We know Degen's been bearish, but we could just say it. You know, this is Degen, okay? So OM's been relatively bearish compared to some of the other meme coins. In fact, I'm not even sure if OM is a meme coin. I don't think it is. It doesn't really matter to me, but I don't know for a fact if it is off the top of my head. But that's what I mean. Let's say, you know what? Let's say XLM. Let's say XLM. How about something like that? XLM is stellar. Lumens is kind of in the ISO 2022 coins or whatever you call it. Trades a lot along with the XRP. I would say is his closest one. Let's see here. Yeah, so even XLM, which you might think would be relatively strong, is kind of going down, and OM has been flat. OM is, so technically I would say it's been relatively bullish compared to a lot. It's hard for me to find bullish tickers. So I want to share with you, like, if you're looking to go long, let's find something that wants to go long, you know? Something that a lot of times when there's a pullback, a strong coin will hold up better. And it's like the buyers, what it really means, like in the real world, like in the real tangible money, what it means is the buyers have more conviction for it. So as soon as, if you think that we're going to have a bounce, right? If we're thinking, okay, now things are about to come up, this will come up too. You feel me? And you have less chance of getting stopped out on some scam wick or something like that because these buyers are holding strong and they just want to go up when it's time to go up. So it's like, even in a downtrend, you still want to keep an eye on the quote-unquote relatively bullish tickers, because if you believe, or let's say there's some news tomorrow that's Sunday news or Monday or something, and everything wants to have a bounce, I would be wanting to go long OM before perhaps, you know, this one or something, you know. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to look out for, is that kind of stuff. Let's see if we want a little bit more zoomed in. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, Jasmine is this one, is the, because I changed the ticker here. It's not the purple. So yeah, it was relatively bearish. Like, why would I go long Jasmine when it's kind of been it's been bearish, because this is XLM. So let's see. Let's compare that back to let's compare it to FartCoin. See, FartCoin has been going a little bit higher than this. So, it's, you know, I'm just saying that's how I decide when I put what I put in the private group chat, when I put in bullish, relatively bullish or relatively bearish. Again, it's harder to find bullish tickers. It's easier to find bearish ones. And that's the other reason why I like shorting more, probably. Let me catch up on some of these chat questions here. Let me clean this up a bit. Let's back on our FartCoin. Oops. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're staying away from this weekend trade. This ain't the weekend. We did well, too. And that's the thing. You know, sometimes don't get trigger happy. You know what I'm saying? A win is a win. And, unless you're really in the groove and you're scalping, you're like, I'm in, I'm out, I'm catching these waves. But, sometimes you be like, okay, I won this one. It's okay to walk away. Just like if you lose, it's okay to walk away, right? You don't want to be doing revenge trading. I swear to God, I probably lost more money revenge trading than anything else, because what happens when you start revenge trading, you stop following the system and you stop following the strategy. I'm telling you, since I fully developed this with Market Cipher, I swear to God, the only time I lose is when I don't stick to the system. I swear. That's the only way you lose. But that's what happens to all of us, though. Really, you're competing with yourself. That's really what's going on. Oh, and I was going to say at the beginning, too, for those who stick around, I'm going to play an exclusive song that's actually not released. I released it on my album, Brand New Plug, and then I took that album off, actually. So that album's not on there no more. So I'm going to play an exclusive song. If you guys rocking with me to the end, I got a banger for you that I made a long time ago before the Cassius Cuvée trading days. I'm going to come back with that. Play Spac Dream at the beginning of this live stream, which is my first finance song, but I'm going to play you one from back when we was banging in the clubs after this. So stay tuned for a banger coming up here in a minute called Clean and Dirty. All right, let's see. Let me catch up on the chat. Okay. I also like to close on my wallets, disconnect from all dexes, okay, and drop a VPN, drop the VPN on. Yeah, I mean, ultimately what his theme is, be cautious. And I respect it and I love it because you can get wrecked in about a dozen different ways in crypto. It may not be trading. It may get your wallet swiped. I got money taken from me in Celsius. You might have some weird shit that get frozen on an exchange. You know what I'm saying? Wallet get hacked or phished or whatever. So unfortunately, in crypto, there's a lot of ways to get your rug pulled on you, and other than just the obvious meme coin rug pull or whatever. You feel me? So you want to be cautious, yeah. So in your wallets, I'm not pulling that up a wallet here on this computer. I don't even know if I have it on this computer. But there is a way you can go in and make sure your wallet, your MetaMask or whatever is disconnected from any connected sites that you were ever connected to. I highly recommend if you have like your wallet that you're hodling coins in, don't ever connect that wallet to any site. Like in Web3, for those who are not real versed in crypto, you use your wallet to access everything. It might be like your username or some project he was talking about, DEXs or DeFi or whatever the case may be. Your wallet is your key. It's your passcode. And so you don't want to have your NFTs that are valuable in there or your Bitcoin that you're storing long-term or anything. You don't want to have that in a wallet that you're using to touch stuff with. And that's kind of what he's talking about. He's like, I'm disconnecting my wallet from DEXs and, whoever might hack something. That's what he's talking about, being cautious. Andrew on here. Yep. Always disconnect all. Yep. Okay, Henry. But what's like an example of a successful trend? I'm looking for an example of kind of an idea. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I guess I already talked about it before even reading that. But a trend is the blue market Cipher B waves are showing us the trend. The momentum waves, that's the trend, right? And it's an inarguable trend. This is what I like about it. This is not a lie. This is not hopium. If there's a red dot here, the trend is down until there is a green dot. Like, if that is the baseline fact, it is what it is. It doesn't mean price will only do this movement or that direction, but that is what the trend is. Something would have to break that trend in order to turn the wave in the opposite direction, and then the dot comes a little bit later. The dot's not actually at the very bottom. You see what I'm saying? The trend was your friend until it ended here. But, like, if you caught this whole move down, which would have been this whole move down, and then let's say you got out here on this bounce, and sure, you would have given back some, you would have been mad, but you still would have made money technically. It's just that on a 1 hour wave, you're going to give a lot more money back than on a 10-minute wave. And that's kind of where that comes into play. And this was kind of the example I was talking about before, that if you keep trading with the trend, eventually you get lucky. And you get the one where it goes the waterfall all the way down with all those red candles, and the waterfall all the way down. These are the two I caught. Did I get lucky? I don't know if it's luck or not, but the idea is the habit was trying to stay with the trend and then get out when the trend was over. This one I was asleep. I got lucky on the TA, you could call it luck or whatever. But this one I was actually more watching because I was awake and watching this. And so it was like, that was into the trend. The trend was coming down. And I was in. And I guess I was wrong. It had a little bounce right where I thought it would have a bounce. So I was right I got out like right there. But okay, it wasn't over. It had one more little break, but then it went back up again. So, I mean, that was the trend right there. Look at like SWE. SWE is dropping. SWE was so damn bullish. Sometimes you feel like some of these coins were so bullish they got nowhere to go now. It's like they fall out of favor, and then all of a sudden, it's all downhill. Ask Ethereum. ETH is ugly. I've been so far ahead of ETH. I was like, ETH is not going back to all-time highs. I said it this whole cycle. No one believed me. I didn't say it would not ever go back to all-time highs. I was just like, if ETH does go back to all-time highs, then the other altcoins are going to rip. If ETH touches $5,000 or something, I want to be in every other quote-unquote ETH killer, whether it be the newer ones like Sweer, the older ones like whatever ticker, you know what I'm saying, AVAX and well, Solana, obviously. Okay, what else we got on here? Okay, or if you're new, just put on the 13, 21, 55 EMAs and just go back on the chart on 15-minute, 1 hour time frames, and you'll see the trends. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, technically he's right? The EMAs, that's a moving average. That almost by definition is the trend, right? You know, that's what they're for. It's a trend. I have on this simple moving average. This is 5-day one, this yellow line, and you could see the trend that way. I don't really need a line to see a trend because to me, it's like, obviously, the candles are going down. But whatever helps you, helps you. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole bunch of shit. You could use Bollinger Bands. Let's see. What do I have here? I used to have, let's see. Okay, this one was kind of cool. I used to look at this, the KC plus percentage R. I used to look at that to kind of give me an idea for a mean reversion. You see how it makes this channel and the green's in the middle? I used to kind of look at that, right? You can see the trend real clear now going down here. What I was trying to do was utilize it as a kind of reversion to mean type of thing. You can see, I haven't looked at this in a long time, actually. You can kind of see, I just wanted to remove everything because everything, you starts getting too much noise. But this is not a bad thing. I did like it. On a downtrend, look, right up here. The uptrend, everything was above the green line. Once it crossed and couldn't break back up again, everything stayed below the green line, and that was the downtrend. And ETH has just been downtrending ever since. But when it broke out way below, it didn't stay below this blue line for too long. A lot of times we come back until here. I mean, that's the thing. All these things kind of work until they don't, right? It looks beautiful, right? Like, oh, this is telling me what to do. But then when you actually have to pull the trigger, when you actually have to put some money in, then what do I do? You know, the science isn't quite so clear. Because now by the way, this is like a normal moving average type of deal where it moves depending on what hourly thing you're on. What's up, Clay? Clay is in the building. So now, where do I trade, right? I kept trying to find a system, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at, and I couldn't get one that was exact enough for me. You could say that these things are all what we call confluence. I haven't really used that word too many times yet, but confluence means you're seeing what you're seeing on based upon what you're looking for. For me, it would be like I'm looking down here at the cake first, and then I'm seeing, okay, now I'm seeing, okay, support and resistance. Now I'm seeing volume. Now I'm seeing these trend lines. Everything is hitting on this exact moment. This is the time to go in, right? This confluence. With a perfect example would be the FartCoin trade, right? I had some confluence here when I was looking at a 10-minute rolling over. I was looking at, okay, we're near the top of this trading range, or we're about a huge bounce back. You know, whatever was, the RSIs might be looking like they're peaking and coming down above the 75 line. The more things you see is a confluence. Or the extremes are, look, you can see the blue thing on it. See, this is what I mean. It's kind of hard to see now. But the blue, the K, what is it? The KC plus percentage R. I used to have one down here too, actually. It gave me too many false signals though. So, okay, you see this one here? So now we're on FartCoin on the 1 hour, right? My reversion to mean theory was kind of made sense, right? It broke out above this blue line, and it's like when it breaks out above that blue line, it don't stay up there for too long. So that would have given me some confidence. I did not look at it, but maybe I probably would have given me even more. If I was bearish already, seeing that it was way overbought, I could just tell. See, that's the other thing too, you guys. I kind of just got good at seeing shit without having to see all the things. And that just takes experience. Because it's so funny, now that I see this, it's telling me what I knew in my brain without seeing it. I didn't even look at it till now. So basically, I seen a big-ass move like this. I'm like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a big-time outperformer. But if I had this KC plus percentage R on, I would have seen that it did, in fact, overshoot, like it went way over the mean, right? If the mean is the green, and then it shot outside the blue, okay, we're in overbought territory is basically what that means, right? This trend was going this way, and it's way up here. Things don't go in one straight line. They zigzag. And that's what happened. Maybe I should keep this on. Shit. But it went over it, and look, it came right back down. And then when it look. Check this out. Look. when it tried to come back up, it hit this line and came back down again. So I don't know. There's a reason why I had the KC percentage R. It ain't bad. You know what I'm saying? It really ain't bad. It's one of those things that works until it don't. Just like everything else in the price chart, okay? I'm trying to tell you guys. Look at me and I here. On the price chart, everything works until it don't. And that kind of gets you on that sometime shit, bro. I want my shit to work all the time. You feel me? And I probably just got too messy with it. I do like it. That's why it's here. You know, I just haven't needed it. I guess I just haven't needed it. But you know, if you were doing that and then the one time you get stopped out here or whatever, actually, let me put it back on again. Let's see what his history did. And also what time frame it's on. You know, you got to get comfortable with what time frames you like looking at, you know. Here on this way up, this is March. I would have kept thinking it was coming back. I would have been wrong how many times here, you know, until it finally gave you that double top. And now that we're in a double top, it came back down. See what I'm saying? It's like I can't give you an exact science. In this one case, Confluence made sense. It was over that line, and it should come back. But I was kind of more so relative to the other coins. I thought that FartCoin had outperformed, you know. And then really I zoomed in on these momentum waves here. So that's that. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. So you're looking for an entry at the green dot. Okay, entry. So Henry, that depends if you're going long or short. So entry at the green dot would be long. Entry at the red dot would be short. That's what that means. Okay, Andrew, I remember back in the day watching the Super Friend indicator. I don't know what it's called either. The Super Trend. There's a million indicators, man. So here we go. I used to look at these EMAs, 20, 50, 100, and 200 moving EMA. And these are based upon, like, it's 200 units of, like, the 1 hour. The daily would be 200 day moving, that kind of stuff. Let's see real quick. This is still FartCoin. So let me see. Boy, they start crossing when price comes back up. But it's these lines here. It's kind of hard to see them, you guys. That's why. Let me turn off. What can I turn off? Market Cipher, maybe? Market Cipher, yeah. I love how Market Cipher has that blue around there. I think you have to turn it on, though. I don't think it's part of the default. I do like that, though. I can take out some of these other lines. So these are the EMAs. This is kind of standard. It's just a free indicator, 20, 50, 100, 200-day moving average. You know, again, I would look at this stuff, but I couldn't get a system for it. You know, for me, I really need to know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I need actionable information when I'm looking at an indicator. This just starts looking messy. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so what if this red hugs it and this one doesn't and this one doesn't? That's a 200-day. Of course it's going to move slower. That's a 200-day. That ain't new. You know what I'm saying? That's obvious. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's like I had to just kind of block it out. But it's still, you know, I could have a lot of drop downs. I have the expensive one or whatever. So I just hide them. And this is the CME gap. So this is for the weekend. Okay, so this is CME gap. If you guys ever use this, people trade the CME gap. Let's put it on Bitcoin for that. The altcoins, I don't know about that. So the CME gap is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. I like that name. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange. But they trade Bitcoin, and it closes at 3 p.m. or 3 p.m. my time, at 1400. And then the weekend starts on Friday. And a lot of people believe that gaps will be filled. And when I say gap, for those who don't know what that is, if it were like the daily, you'll see a gap on price. Like when the weekend starts, there'll be it'll be a gap between the candles won't line up exactly perfectly. There'll be a gap. I'm trying to see. Is this showing me the gap? I don't know. I don't see any gaps on here. But basically, because the trading is not allowed on the weekend, if there was the weekend trading, let's say this comes way down here, that would mean there was a gap that was like if Monday if let's say Monday started right now, right? That'd mean there was a gap from here to here. The last candle was here and then it opened up here, right? And a lot of people feel like prices love to fill gaps. And so like maybe it'll go lower, but it'll go higher before it comes lower. That's what the trading the CME gap would be. And if it don't, people will be like, oh, we got a gap to fill. You know what I'm saying? Maybe weeks go by. We got that gap to fill way down there at whatever price. I remember it did that on Bitcoin not too long ago, actually, a couple weekends ago. Wasn't that long ago, where it was like, oops. It was the fastest gap. Remember Tom Cronick called it out. He's like, this is the fastest gap. It created a gap, and then it filled the gap, like faster than it's ever done before. I'm trying to figure, where the hell was that? It was this. It was this one. I think it created this gap when this came down. or something. Oh, no. It filled. This was the weekend. I think it made this gap. And then Monday came and it filled it right back. Yeah, we got a big-ass gap on Sunday when it opened, and then it filled it back down like this on Monday. It was the quickest a big-ass gap like that had ever filled. Something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but that's what this is for. And so I usually hide it when it's not on a weekend. And that's, again, man, the shit sometimes works. There's some calculation it works 87% of the time. You know what I'm saying? Look, always weekend gaps will be filled, yeah. And I understand it. I mean, they usually are eventually, but when, man? I'm trying to get this money now. And that's everything I'm doing is pay me today, bro. That's really what it is. You know what I'm saying? This is the song I had lined up here for that, okay? This one here. Win. You guys know this one. Pay me my money, man. I'm trying to win now. I don't want to win in 2 years from now. I'm trying to win right now, today, man. Win. Get out the way, yo. I'm winning in 12 hours, man. That FartCoin was paying. I got in it, man, on the live stream. And look how I predicted it. It came all the way back down perfectly. And then this one, I was like, there's another option. Look at that one came back down. I'm like, bruh. And this one hit when I was asleep. And then I took profit on the other one. That's what we talked about at the beginning of this stream. Because yesterday's stream, I laid it out so beautifully. Look, I put these arrows. I was showing Henry what a head and shoulders looks like. And it did it. I'm telling you. And I said, the question was, why here? Why right here? And I think I was looking at the 1 hour, and I was just like, that was the bottom of this wick. That's what I was thinking. Because remember, none of this was here. It was just here. So I was like, look, I'm going to sleep. I didn't actually know if it would come down that far that fast. But I was like, but if it does, give me my money. So I woke up in the money. Now I had a bigger position in my personal account, and I basically rode that one. I rode the bounce back up again. But then when it came down again at 7 in the morning, I posted it in the Discord. I was like, I'm out. Give me my money. Let me look at the 10 minute. That's what I was looking at. It was here. I got out here. This green dot. See, this green dot hit on this first wick. Actually, I missed this one. When it came back down here and I saw this green dot coming up, that was when I got out. But I also had a little bit of better entry on my personal one. I had the entry was on the orange. Oh, I'm not even on this shit. The entry was on the orange here. On the personal account. Win. I'm trying to win right now. But then it came back down here. I'm like, give me my money, man. All right, y'all. Let me ask you a question. Do you want to hear some old school Cassius Cuvée? It's not that old, but it's before I was into trading. I got a banger lined up for y'all. And we're gonna end the show for all the people who stuck around who like Cassius Cuvée music. I got some old stuff that I was gonna play for y'all. It's featuring me and Jay Hollow. He said, "Run it." Yosef, he popped in for the music. He's like, "I'm just here for the bangers, man." He said, "Run it." Let's go. The song's called Clean and Dirty. Fuck all this trading, man. Let's get the bangers go. Shining. Clean and dirty. Clean and dirty. Clean and dirty. Right. Clean and dirty. Right. Clean and dirty. Clean and dirty. Pull up on the scene. Right. Clean and dirty. Clean and dirty. Clean and dirty. Clean and dirty. Right. Clean and dirty. Right. Clean and dirty. Clean and dirty. Yeah, I mean, clean and dirty. Sound the committee. I'm counting the kitty. Tonight it's going down from the town to the city. The hoes run rapid when the foes done landed. Upgraded, fully loaded, but the haters come standard. You know that I came with a piece, cause I hang in the east, so they bang in the streets. And my car so clean, valet can't touch it. If price is the subject, then it ain't in your budget. Pull up, bass bumping, whole place jumping. Ass everywhere in the air, straight pumping. She rubbing on the thing on the side of my pants. My pro official chain got her eyes in a trance. My sobriety in the shop, but the pimpin' don't stop. You can ride in my 64 Lincoln drop top. Right now it's too early, me to add 230. And she gon' let me put it where it's clean and dirty. Clean and dirty, clean and dirty, clean and dirty. Right, clean and dirty, right, clean and dirty, clean and dirty. Pull up on the scene, right, clean and dirty, clean and dirty, clean and dirty, clean and dirty, right, clean and dirty, right, clean and dirty, clean and dirty. My homeboy Jay Hollow right here.
We're killing shit, case closed. cream it at the same time.
For sure, Oakland, baby.
Herbs breaking me down to Philly. No, I'm finna turn up and load it. This is what I will be. I pull up, nigga, banging like a drum. Whip sterilized, gun dirty like a drum. Smoking on a fatty joint, looking like a bum. In the party like telling bitches they give me son, yeah. And I'm rolling, coolin', but I'm holding. Pull up on shoulder, damn, that ass looks swollen. Say she got a nigga, I'ma leave that pussy stolen. And she love it when I rip her clothes off, whole cold. Cause I am so ill, on my lap, oh still. Blowing marijuana, sliding in my automobile. I'm riding clean, car matching the outfit. And I'm riding dirty, due to illegal content.
Clean and dirt, clean and dirt, clean and dirt.
Right, clean and dirty, right, clean and dirty. Clean and dirty.
Pull up on the scene,
Right,
clean and dirt, clean and dirt, clean and dirt, clean and dirt, right, clean and dirt,
Right, clean and dirty.
clean and dirt,
Right, clean and dirty.
clean and dirt, clean and dirt, clean and dirt, right, clean and dirt.
That's right, man. I was in San Francisco on Thursday night.
Pull up on the scene, right, clean
And dirty.
clean and dirt.
All right. Hopefully I don't get flagged on the copyright content. I'm the one who owns it. I have to dispute myself. Yeah, that song's called Clean and Dirty, released on my album Brand New Plug. It was a throwback that I already had it recorded by the time I came out with the album, because the album Brand New Plug came out after I found finance. So, oh, we got a brand new plug. We ain't never going back to the old ways. I started from the bottom like I ran through mud. Changed the game. Now my album name is Brand New Plug. So basically, man, that was a banger. I got a video of that, not a music video. We were at First Fridays where they pull out all the old schools. You used to have the 1964 Lincoln Continental, which I mentioned in the song. That's with the suicide doors. And, like, everybody had hella slap, you know. And first time I ever played the song for anybody was this brother called Cadillac. Actually, it wasn't Cadillac Black. It was another dude. He had hella slap in his car, though. Hella in the trunk, more than I had. And because I had my shit was a convertible, and it fits in the trunk. You couldn't have much room for speakers, so all I could fit back there was 210s. But, man, he must have had 412s. And the video, I was just filming on my phone. I posted it on YouTube. I have to show y'all one time. First, you're just playing it, and I'm just in it like this. Then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, here come a bunch of ladies and the turf dancers, and everybody is just hyped. The whole crowd is lit, and they ain't never heard the song before. So that's why I was like, oh, we got a banger right here, Case. That's my brother. I was like, we got to do this one. We got to do this one. I got to get this mastered. And then we never put it out after that. And so then I saved it. It was too big of a banger. It was too big of a club banger. So then I waited till when Back Dream came out. I was like, all right, I got to put together an album. And that was the one. All right, Blockchain Cowboy. Yeah, we wrapping it up here anyways. I got to go too, fellas. Appreciate y'all. See you next time. I'm going to try to jump on tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. I might not be able to. But if there's something happening in the charts, I'll let you know. I'm definitely going to be posting in the Discord, though. But anyways, it's been great, y'all. I'll holler at you in a minute. Share, tell your friends, all that stuff. Appreciate y'all. If you can make some comments after we close it in the chat, that'd be cool, too. I appreciate y'all. All right, y'all. Peace.